Hey, Baba. Are you doing a podcast?
Welcome back, everybody. Oh my word. Season 2, Wild Thoughts podcast. Pam, 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 pam. I'm not going to lie. We have done this episode. This is the third time. But don't worry. Every time we redo, it's a whole different conversation. Because one, like I can't even remember what we spoke about. Two, I like that it's unscripted. But let me just tell you, the first time we did it,
You caught me unaware.
yes.
I had no idea. But
The
okay,
second time we did it, it just stopped recording 3 times during while we were recording. And so when I started to edit, we then also realized the mic was like in and out. So here we go again.
with a cup of tea.
Take 3 with a cup of tea. So my guest for today is my mother, Colleen.
Hello.
And she was complaining. She said, yeah, I have to sit with a cup of tea and not have a champagne like other people. But it's like 11 p.m. She makes the best tea. I will give her that.
Wow.
But also,
My granddaughter
she's
says I
known-
make the best tea.
she does. She is also known as a one-drink wonder. And so imagine what she'll be spilling if we had her.
Oh my God, that's not true.
Yes, it is. But here we go. For the third time, I'm going to
Chai
really new questions because I can't. So why did I choose to have my mom on the season?
Sorry, you make. I thought you were gonna say the tea is good.
It is good.
Okay.
It's not as sweet as you normally make it, but it's good. Yeah. So why do I have my mom on this episode? There was a lot of moving parts from the end of season 1 to season 2. A lot has happened, and I guess we'll talk about it as we go along. But I thought not only would it be cool because it works into why I've done a lot of what I've done, but also she's a boomer. She doesn't know what a boomer is. And so I'm not going to ask her again because I've obviously said it before. But my mom's a boomer. She's born in the 60s. Are you born in the 60s? And I'm a millennial. And my mother and I, we have a very close relationship, but we are not emotional people. And I guess I get that from her. Like my mom is not like PDA. She doesn't express emotion. She doesn't talk about certain things. And I'm the same. When I am emotional, I'll have my moments, or I'll cry in the shower, and then once the water's finished, the tears are finished, and we move on with our day. And so I do say she's a emotionless bitch.
Oh wow. Well, years ago, 1993, when Jamie's dad was diagnosed with leukemia, my sister said, "I'm a heartless bitch."
You see, so I'm not rude for saying it.
No.
I'm not
My
rude for
kids were
saying
very
it.
young when their dad took ill, and I didn't show emotions in front of them because what do I tell them? The extent of his illness and
No, but it's not only that. She does not show emotion. Our entire upbringing, I think I've always heard people say oh, my mom is my best friend, and you sit and you talk about in-depth things. We've never had that relationship, which I don't mind. It's okay. There's certain things I'll say to my mother, and there's certain things that I don't. And I think I'll speak for my siblings as well. They are the same. And my mom always knew about when something is happening and when it's finished. The start of it and when it's done. She'll try to fish out as it goes.
like any mother.
But yeah. And so I thought it would be cool to have her on because
I feel honored.
okay. But okay, before we start, we'll do a little. So guys, I was a
Hier kom 'n ding.
I was a a flight attendant before, right? And my mom is not the brightest when it comes to geography.
Yeah,
First of all,
she's gonna put me on the
first of
spot. I
all,
didn't do geography.
she will
at school.
always butcher somebody's name. I know one friend of mine for over 8 years now, and she still says
I can't say it.
her name wrong.
Ibtisam.
She says it in parts. Anyway, that's funny. Shout out Ipti.
Well,
But also, she's not the brightest
oh,
in geography.
I was gonna throw this tea at you now.
Oh. So we're gonna do an icebreaker. I'm gonna ask you some questions.
Oh my God.
Where is the Eiffel Tower located?
Why would you ask me that? It's in Paris.
Okay.
No.
Which country is Paris in?
UK. No, stop. I'm not doing this. No, you.
Which country is Paris in?
No, I'm not doing this. Just stop this shit.
No,
Why would you do this? No, I don't think it's funny. I don't want you to put in.
Colleen, come, continue. Next. What language did I say? What language did I lie about on my resume? Not, I didn't lie about it because I could speak it. Which language did I get a final written warning about when I applied for Emirates?
German.
Which country's people speak German?
Take me for a pop. Sack man.
Which country's people speak German?
In Germany.
Okay, that's good. What?
She's taking me for a gat. If you don't know what the gat is, she's taking me for
Okay.
an asshole.
I won't ask her anymore. I won't ask her anymore. Who's your favorite child?
You know what? Just to break the ice, I would tell you who's my favorite child.
I am a mother now. They definitely have you have to have a favorite child. I'm not saying that you love your children differently. I just think that there is a favorite.
I don't have a favorite. I have 3 kids and I love them equally.
The same answer our whole life. Okay, who's your favorite grandchild?
I have 4 grandkids. My eldest, Elijah, is 5 years old. And I have 3 that was born in 2021. I have 1 princess and 3 princes. And I love them equally. I do not have a favorite. They're all more special grandkids.
So
imagine I say one child is my favorite. I mean, that's not
everybody
fair.
has a favorite. I'm pretty sure, like, if I had another child, I definitely do think that your first child is a favorite because you learn everything with your first child. Now thinking back, growing up, I think Brendan was your favorite, but it has changed, and I think Dino is definitely
Each
a
one of you have special. I don't have a favorite. What makes you think?
All 3 of your children are different.
Yes.
Which means that there must be stuff that you love from some and stuff that you hate from some. Again, I'm not saying you love one more than the other. I'm saying there has to be a favorite.
No, there's no favorite. There is special. If I take, you said earlier, Brendan is my favorite. Brendan has been through a lot. And yes, he's the eldest. And I admire a youngster at the age of 8 who took care of his 2 siblings while their dad was ill. So he grew up overnight. But it doesn't make him my favorite. There's something special about him, and there's something special about Dino as well as you.
There has to be a favorite, for sure.
Who's your favorite brother?
I do
She's
have
got
a
two
favorite.
brothers.
I do have a favorite, but favorite in different ways.
Thank you. Thank you. You're answering what I'm.
Yeah, but I'm
older.
not a parent. Again, if
You
I
are a
had-
parent to one.
If I had another child and I had to choose between Haley and the other child right now, I would say Haley. But maybe Haley becomes like a teenage brat and I'm just like we clash. And then the second child is like this little angel, and then that might become like my favorite child in the moment. Again, not saying I love them differently. I'm just
You
saying.
answered exactly what you wanted to hear from.
So that's what I'm saying. Growing up, I think Brendan was your favorite, and it's now changed and adapted to Dino is the favorite. I was never my mother's favorite. I was a daddy's girl. 100%, I say it. But I was never in line to be Colleen's favorite until now.
Oh, only till now.
Because she wants a green card.
That's not really nice.
Yeah. So when I had Haley, my mom stayed here for 6 months after Haley was born. What do you think, looking back, when I had Haley to till now? Do I do differently than when you were a mom, or do you sit back and say like, "Oh, I would have never done that," oh, fuck that, or something?
It's difficult. I admire you as a parent. And yes, especially when it's the first kid, you're not aware of what you're facing. I've been through that with my first child. I mean, if I take the breastfeeding, I was a working mother, I had a baby, and till today I get told I robbed Brendan, the eldest, of being a breastfed baby, because after 2 months I stopped and poor Brendan went on the bottle and I went back to work after three or 4 months maternity leave. If I had to start all over, and I would do it differently. But other than that,
Yeah, she did like too soon for the first and too long for the last. Remember, I had no say, but I think it's fucking weird. She had me on the boob till I was 4.
and look how you turned
Maybe
out.
that's like why I'm so
Slim.
smart and healthy.
I shame Brendan is smart and healthy as well.
He is the smartest. Now I will give
he's
him
the
that.
smartest. You see, there's your favorite.
No, he's not my favorite. I think between the three of us, he is very smart in a different sense of knowledge.
No, I not only Brendan, I'm proud of all 3 of my kids. I feel whatever Dad and I did, we guided you guys. What you did with your life when you left home till today, it's on the onus is on you. But I'll say I'm very proud of you guys.
Thanks. I don't know how she wants me to react because, like I said in the beginning, we don't show emotion. But thanks, Mom. I don't think I've ever seen my mom like genuinely come up and give me and my siblings a hug.
Yeah.
You don't.
Your dad was the affectionate.
No, she really, like, I really don't.
She's
like,
100% correct. He will take them to school and drop them off, be it from grade 1 to their matric year, grade 12. If he drops them off, and normally boys don't hug and kiss their dad, but these 3, they would get at the car and say, "Bye, Dad," give a nice hug and kiss and goodbye. But when it's my turn to drop them off, they just jump at the car and bye. Yeah. So,
but not like you wanted it as well. Like, I lay on the couch and I cuddle with Haley. I don't know if it's a sad truth, but I don't remember like ever.
No, I wasn't an affectionate mom.
Same, bless you. We still love you.
Sometimes.
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 What would you say was your biggest struggle as a parent, or when you became a parent?
Having 3 kids and wanting the best for them, which we always made sure we gave you guys the best, and I hope we did. Yes, and we made sure you could be put through good schooling. You maybe didn't at the time when you matriculated or did your last year, grade 12, go carry on to varsity, but I do take my hat off to you guys. Once you started working, you went ahead and educated yourselves and got whatever degrees you wanted.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So would you say that the schools we went to you couldn't afford? In reality, I mean, in reality, we went there.
Look, in the beginning, your dad and I, we had good jobs. Your dad went through quite a bit of hurdles. He was transferred to another city. And I stayed with the 2 boys at that time. I didn't have you yet. And we decided, I had a good job. The boys were in excellent schools in Cape Town, so why disrupt them? But after living apart, we decided it's not good to raise the kids this way and working away from home. And he gave up a good job, and he started on a very low level. So money obviously was a factor, but it didn't stop us from making sure that you guys carry on in the schooling that we put you in, which was Model C schools, which was excellent, good schools. Yeah. So we rather made sure we do without something else, but your education, we made sure that you guys get it.
And I matriculated in 2011. Oh my word, it's so far away. In 2011.
I know where she's going with the. It's a family joke.
When did you still paying school fees?
They would say, I mean, like 2011, we're in 2025, and they would say, Mom, are you still paying off school fees?
Jesus Christ, I'm out of high school 14 years.
No, definitely.
14.
11,
Wow.
Yeah, definitely.
Wait. So the question is, when did you actually finish paying my school fees? Just mine, if we're talking about mine.
Well, you were the last kid in schooling. It's difficult to say.
Actually, I think I was the favorite kid then, because I went to a better school than my brothers for high school. So I think I was the favorite child then. In that moment.
There's nothing about favorite kids. The boys went to Rondebosch Boys till a certain grade.
No, we're talking about high school now. So the high school period, I was the favorite child. I think so.
Yes, you put me in debt.
Okay, so in 2011, I finished school. When did you actually finish pay my school fees?
It's difficult to say a year later or 2 years later, but there was always
last year.
No, she lied. And even if it was last year,
that's fine.
The bottom line is the school fees was paid.
There's nothing wrong with it. So in South Africa,
everybody go in debt.
So in South Africa if you can't pay school fees as a child, do they kick the children out of school?
They don't kick the kids out of school. Just like any debt, if you cannot honor it or pay it, you will be handed over to attorneys, and then instead of paying the school fees only, you then now you incurred attorney lawyers' fees. And that to me was also sad, because people cannot pay school fees for some reason, and now you get handed over to an attorney and you still have to pay attorney fees. They don't put the child out. I don't think they can do that. But what they do, I know, is that when it's time for the kid to get the report at the end of the year, if your school fees has not been paid up to date, the results won't be released.
That's crazy. But I do think, like, I mean, obviously being in the States, I don't know how education is not free in South Africa. Well, it should be
Even
free
now,
worldwide.
you get
like,
government
it
schools
shouldn't
which
be as if it's a privilege. It
Yeah.
should be a right. Education should be a right. And I think, like, parents really suffer putting food on the table, a roof over their head, keeping their family warm when it's cold, and so forth. And now you still have the stress of potentially having to take your child out of school or get blacklisted because you can't pay. But then there's the issue of you have to consider putting your child in a school which is a government school, which is not the same education, which now affects their ability of getting into a good high school or probably a good college.
True. And then also, look, government schools, there's also a cost. It's not free education. You also have to pay school fees.
But then you also have to question the safety of your children.
Yeah. There is some good government schools, but it depends which area it's in. And then, as you say, it's the safety of getting, you were 8 minutes drive if you got into public transport from the school you went to. But did you use public transport? Never. Because we felt for your safety, you rather do your homework at school till the time I complete my work.
Yeah,
and pick
I
you
went
up
to school at 7 a.m. I got there.
till
And
5.
I was the last person. Yes, where I'm not the favorite child. No, I'm joking. I was the last person to be picked up. I was sometimes like the only person at school.
You had to lock the gates.
5:30 to 6 p.m.
Mm.
p.m. I was there in the cold. But you know what? I guess that's where a lot of my patience comes from. So I think now as an adult, we could see the struggles you guys actually went to put us in the schools that we were in. Because obviously back then we just thought of it as, oh, it's a school and so forth. We didn't actually think of everything or the struggles that you guys went through, because we weren't a wealthy family. If I look at my friends or the school that I went to, especially in my high school, we couldn't afford it. And the fact that you were paying long after I graduated, it just shows that you had a payment plan. So it wasn't only just for high school, and it wasn't only just for me being the last kid in school, it was throughout our schooling career. So was there any special things that you did to help pay school fees?
Well, when your dad lost his job, it was only my income. He approached the principal of the school and he said, we are aware of the debt that we owe the school, and he's prepared to do maintenance, like, for example, paint classrooms. When they had the rugby at the Newland Stadium, they would open the gates of the school for people to park, and they would use him, and they would obviously reduce whatever debt was being owed as a cost to him. But he would offer his services.
And how does that work? Like, the principal just decides, or has to go to the board?
I think the principal, he would make a decision, but also the governing body would step in, because you obviously send your income and expenses, and to show that you cannot continue paying what you were paying because of only one income. But yeah, it worked for us, and we paid your debt.
Yeah, don't come for us, Rustenburg. It's funny because as a teenager, I didn't want to go to the school that I went to. I wanted to go where my best friend at the time was going. It was a co-ed school. And then I was on the wait list for the school that I went to. And I hid the form away. You had to like fill out a form to say like you accept to be on the wait list and so forth, so forth. I hid it away. I went on holiday to Dubai to visit my brothers, and then came back to
be accepted.
Yeah. And I heard like, hey, so you're actually going to this and this school next year. And I was not happy about it. I hated it. Not the fact of it, just the school. It was just like I was not prepared to go to that school. It was not one of my choices. Obviously, it was also a girls' school, but also from what I knew of the school at the time, there wasn't a lot of my personality and culture of people, if I put it that way. And
She took over that school, let me tell you that.
I have no comment for that. But you see, I was the fun kid. I was the fun personality. But I will say it was the best decision that my parents ever made for me.
Oh, wow.
I look back at videos of myself before I started at that school, and I would be a very, very different person today. To be fair, I'm still the same person, but I think I've adapted. And so even like living abroad, I think people need to give South Africans a break, because I've seen videos where they say, oh, they left South Africa and now they talk funny and they forgot where they come from. Believe me, if you know me, I am very much a proud South African. I'm very much proud of my nationality, my culture, my upbringing. And if you hear like my twang every now and then, it's not because like I'm trying hard to lose my accent. Believe me, when I'm 2 days back home or around South Africans, my accent is back. It's there. So I'm not faking. But I will say, like, you have to adapt. And if you've traveled outside of South Africa, especially to the US, and you sit there and you ask for, can you bring me tomato sauce? The people will ask you 10 times, what? Or if you say, can I have water, a glass of water? They'll ask you what. So you have to adapt to where you go as well. So now you have to like say, can I have a glass of water? Like, okay, it's not that hectic, but yeah, I'm still getting used to them not understanding that we call milk. I don't understand how they don't understand milk, but
I went on a cruise with a group of ladies and I said, can you pass me a serviette, please? They all looked at me and I pointed to what I wanted and they said, it's a napkin. OMG.
but yeah, and so yeah, I do look back and I could have been a very different person because of my education. And so I do appreciate the decision that my parents made at that time. And now, I mean, not now, only finding out about it now, but just listening back and like as being a mom and being a parent and being an adult, I understand the sacrifices that was made for your kids. Like, it's actually crazy what parents put themselves through for their kids to have a better life. Like, people always say to me, why do you live in the US? Don't you miss home? I miss home. I obviously say Dubai is home because that's where I became an adult. So I miss Dubai and I miss South Africa, don't get me wrong. But there's pros and cons. You love it, you hate it, and it's the same when I go home. I love it, I hate it. There's pros and cons there. There's pros and cons everywhere. But the better choice for my child and opportunity-wise and for her future is the US. And so until that opportunities or that future for her looks different in a different picture, I will make that sacrifice for her or any other child that comes along. And so if you've been following along, I recently launched and opened a nonprofit organization which is called Calasse of Grace Foundation, and it is dedicated to funding school fees for South African kids. And so a lot of people have been asking me, why did you go that route? What was it for? First of all, the name alone was a personal, I won't say personal, it was a way to, well, how can I say? a way to remember or
In
honor
honor.
in honor of my late best friend. So even though it's called Calasse of Grace Foundation, it's actually spelled with his last name. And so that was a way of honoring him and keeping his legacy alive. And yeah, there's another story behind, you know, why I chose to do that for him. But Grace comes from Haley's second name. And so it means a lot to me, specifically the name of the organization and the meaning behind it. Why I specifically chose schooling is because that's my way to honor my parents. Now, I always say, I just say that we don't show emotion. And so this is my way of saying, here, Mom, this is for you. It's my emotional moment with her. But and it's I as a parent now and as an adult, I realize the sacrifices that my parents made to actually give me the future that I have now and my siblings have now. And so specifically seeing their struggles has made me want to help other families that are in the same situation.
Mm-hmm.
And so the foundation specifically wants to help primary school funding, because I think that high school and colleges have a lot of scholarship opportunities. And I don't think that a child that is going to or does not have the same education as, you know, kids in Model Cs or private schools has the same opportunities to, one, get into a good high school, which is going to lead to a good college, and two, be able to get scholarships to go to a good high school or to a good college. And so it's basically the foundation of a child's schooling career. And I think that that's why I wanted to go that route. And so that's why Colleen is our guest, because I thought it would be good to actually just hear from a mom that struggled financially, giving their kids the best, but also like the realistic approach to it. My mom and dad always spoke about how they got married with 2 cents in their bank account, which I don't know if it is actually accurate.
Well,
how did you afford your wedding then?
Okay, so back in the days, I don't know if people still do it. If you're growing up and you work and you live in the same house with your parents at that time. I was 12 when my dad passed away, and my mother raised 5 children. And her wish was that we turn 21 before we get married. But once we
Oscar, wait. Before you skip 21 when they got married, that was my grandmother's only wish. How long after you turned 21 did you get married?
I turned 21 on Monday the 11th, and the Saturday the 16th I got married.
5 days. How? And your sister?
My sister was the Friday 21 and the Saturday she got married.
One day.
Yeah.
They 5 siblings. The men waited. They were like 24, 25.
20, yeah.
2 days and 5 days
there was
after
nothing
their
wrong
mother's
with
wish.
it. But back to the thing. So we as kids, while we were working, we would come home at month end and we would hand over our full paycheck to our parents, to my mom in my case, and she would give me pocket money. And when I say pocket money, I got 200 Rand, which saw me through the month. And we're talking back in 41 years ago, giving my age away. And 200 Rand was a lot of money, but that was just pocket money. If I needed traveling, if I needed toiletries, if I needed the roof over my head and the food on the table, that would come from what my mom received. And I got married on the 16th of July. The 21st was my payday. And
so everything you gave her, she was actually secretly saving.
I wouldn't say secretly saving. It was basically when it was the wedding, maybe she must have been saving, because at the end of the day, whatever the woman was responsible for the wedding, she would obviously, she and maybe family, sisters, and that helped. She gave me us a beautiful wedding, 200 guests. I mean, that don't come cheap.
200 guests.
Yeah, 200 guests.
How
and
do
your
you know
dad
that many people?
And your dad,
Break traditions, guys.
family.
There was
No, it's
no
true.
way. Listen, we don't know nobody from my dad's family, so there maybe must have been like 10 people from his side there. So 190 people came from
family and
the
friends
side.
and work colleagues. Anyway,
Break traditions. This
And
is
your-
where we're so different. I said I will have a destination wedding. Whoever comes is the people that is very important in your life because they made the effort to come. And I was happy with my 10 people. I must give that from my dad's side. And mind you, I like to party. I like throwing events.
Yeah. So back to the bank balance. Whatever had to be paid for that big day, be it the flowers and the hiring of the car and the wedding cake and the catering, and that came from my mom's side. And obviously, Dad was very independent. He paid whatever needed to be paid. And if honeymoon had to be paid, it was all paid up front. So yes, we had nothing in the bank, but I remember clearly Mr. Van Tonder, one of Dad's bosses of Telkom, handed him an envelope. And we went on honeymoon with the 200 Rand that he had given us as a wedding gift. 200 Rand back in the days was a lot of money. So yeah, so
they had 202
cents.
Don't lie to your kids. We find out everything.
No, that was a wedding gift, but yeah, it was lovely.
200 Rand and 2 cents.
He's on about this 200 Rand. Yeah. That was back in the days, it was a lot of money.
I can imagine it was a lot.
Yeah.
Maybe like equivalent to giving somebody, I don't know, 2,000 Rand?
When, as in today?
As a wedding gift?
And maybe 2,000. It was a lot of money.
Did you ever think that that your kids, this is actually a question I've never asked you. Did you ever think that you and Dad would have had kids and they would live abroad? First of all, question, because back in the day before we all started actually like
running
traveling
away
from South Africa, did you ever think we would have left South Africa just to travel on holiday?
No. I don't know, because
financially we were never that family.
No. Financially we never did holidays outside within the Western Cape, I would say. I think the furthest we went
was Durban.
Yeah. Durban, Gauteng, Port Elizabeth, Knysna. Yeah, so we never traveled anywhere. When Brendan was 18 and he matriculated, and he said he was then working for Markham, and he came on one evening, he said, Dad, I don't know where he got the idea from, and he said, Dad, I would love to work abroad. And for some reason, back in the days, you could find good jobs in the newspaper. And for some reason, there was a job advertised. They were looking for South Africans to work in Saudi Arabia. And with the help of his father, he was making application.
Did you guys, because I will say, I will say, like, you guys weren't strict, but you were kind of strict with safety. What made you say yes?
I think one, because Brendan was a boy, a male.
Favorite. Boys were brought up differently.
I think your dad looked at it when he left Durban to come to Cape Town and find work and things like that.
Maybe that's where it comes from.
I think that, yeah. And yeah, I think also...
I didn't think of that.
Yeah. So your dad was 18 when he first came to Cape Town and he found work. And when Brendan said he'd love to work abroad, and Saudi Arabia being such a safe country, I think he didn't think twice. But he was he was very strict on when it's time for you guys to travel, how he would make sure you put your passport in this pocket and you put this in that pocket. And shame. You remember how you
Yeah.
were overweight at the airport one day?
Just imagine, like, I got yelled at in the airport.
Oh my God.
Thought I lost my passport from the time that I checked in to the time I was going through immigration. Oh, it was a nightmare. But anyway, it's just because my father stressed me out. If there was ever a man, that stressed me out, and y'all know me, it would be my father.
But it was for good reasons.
No, it was not. He was just
Overprotective.
stress Eric.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Bless his dear soul.
But that was good. It was a good chat. Thank you for coming on my podcast. So now you guys kind of know a little bit more about this project that is very near and dear to my heart, along with some other business flourishes that has finally, over the last 8 years, taken shape and come into fruition. Is that right?
Mhm.
To say that?
Mhm.
To do a spelling test with Colleen.
E-commerce.
Yes. So if you want to know more about the foundation, you can find it on my website. It's thesource.info, and that's not like sauce you put over the food, which technically that's the meaning. Like, you know, when you put sauce, it gives your food a little bit of extra Yeah, it's like we got the sauce, but it's not spelled as sauce. It's SAWSE. We got the sauce. She's laughing at me, which, guys, everything has a meaning. Like when I started the business back in the day, I was 23. I was throwing club events.
She's now 32.
Wow. Wow. Thanks for throwing my age out there, but also that I'm getting old. But yeah, I was 23, throwing events. And that was the direction I was heading in when I first started as an entrepreneur. And it's not just a name. It actually, I was doing events. And so the name stands for summer, autumn, winter, spring events. The source. There was this, the brain behind it. Anyway, so you can, on our foundation page, it's got all our information. You can donate there. You can also submit somebody's story. So the way that we're going to try to help fund people is by you guys. If you know somebody or if you want to submit your own story, go online, tell us your story. There is a process, but if you are selected, we'll reach out to either you or the family directly for the next step. Otherwise, we are also planning to actually just reach out to schools and find out, you know, if there are any families that are struggling, but also word of mouth. That's going to be our biggest, you know, way to outreach to families and lend a hand. So if you want to sponsor, if you want to donate, you can do so on our website, Calasse of Grace Foundation. We're hoping by January this year, the new school year, we'll be able to at least help a few families and keep growing from there. So stay tuned. Season 2 is well on its way. It's going to be amazing. Episode 2, I chat to the author of Healing is a Bitch, and we yapped too much. We yapped finances, trauma, relationship, healing. It was an amazing session. It's just amazing to see how two very different people living two different lives experience the same thing. And that just makes, you know, having a podcast more special, because you realize that there are so many people out there that go through the same things as you, but they maybe don't want to talk about it, or they don't hear other people going through it. And so if we could shed light where there needs to be, that's all that matters. So yes, is there anything you want to say, Colleen?
No, I just want to say I'm very proud of not only you, because you're not my favorite. No, I'm proud of what you're doing, and especially the MPO. And yes, I think it's a good thing to do because besides school fees, people struggle with school uniforms, people struggle with stationery because stationery is a big thing, especially at the beginning of the year for schools. And you just come out of Christmas, then people are struggling again to make sure the kids are sorted for their schooling year. So yeah, I'm 100% behind you, and where I can assist, I will. How do you know me? I love fundraising.
She really does.
Mm.
So I'll leave you with Colleen. Where's Paris? Thank you so much for tuning in.
Bye.